Good evening. This is my audience. Say hello, James.
Hello.
Unfortunately, due to illnesses, I was not able to have any additional people to be in my audience this evening. Hello, my name is Anika Hurst, and today I'll be doing a presentation to get you familiar with Boys Town of Louisiana, which gives residential services to the youth. I became inspired to pick this agency when I recently reviewed news report on WVUE News Channel that had a update on a 13-year-old young man who shot a guy who was just walking down the street in the back in 2019, which left him paralyzed. The report was about the delinquents being recently transferred to a less restrictive setting to meet his educational needs. The victim's family was extremely upset because the youth was still having behavioral issues and they still decided to transfer him. The report left me saddened that a young man who was simply walking down the street was permanently damaged by the 13-year-old's actions. This is not an uncommon story if you consider what our community is currently facing with juvenile crime, but does add a research thought. It just brought to me the background of the 13-year-old and the violence he had witnessed. The story prompted me to do more research of the youth residential services in the New Orleans area. I used the City of New Orleans Juvenile Justice Programming Handbook to identify the services that they offer in New Orleans. But it was actually a conversation that I had with someone on the topic that brought me to Boys Town of Louisiana. The agency is in New Orleans, and don't let the name fool you. They provide more services besides just for boys. A book called A Century of Service, A History of Healing, the Boys Town identifies the Father Flanagan, who was a priest who started providing a home for wayward boys in 1917 in Omaha, Nebraska. He learned that most of the homeless men were in situations like poverty, abandonment, or being orphans. So he began to focus on homeless boys who wandered the streets. So he borrowed money and he brought this old Victorian home to house the boys in. During this time, it was unheard of a group servicing racially mixed population. The residents of the area faced many racially charged barriers as they traveled to build support for their community. Boys Town trademark became the statue of one boy carrying another boy, and it says, "He ain't heavy, Father. He is my brother." The agency has now survived and refined itself for over 100 years. Now on to Boys Town of Louisiana. In 1989, they started providing services in a family environment to teenage girls and boys. The juvenile comes from either juvenile custody for delinquency or child protective custody. They have one shelter that houses 16 boys in 3 residential homes with either 6 males or females. They use a specific model of intervention called the family teaching model. There is no other service in New Orleans that provides this kind of model for helping youth develop the skills needed to develop socially in a family environment. The goal is for them to function successfully in school and their community. Boys Town mission has always been to make the world a better place for children and families. It has succeeded because every child deserves to be valued and have the chance to reach his or her full potential. I wish the 13-year-old who paralyzed another man, which I touched on early in my presentation, had that opportunity. An opportunity to feel valued and supported to reach his full potential. Thank you.